I got onto this story actually about a month ago because friends that I went to high school with, husband and wife that I'd been to high school with, and she contacted me on Facebook and said that her husband, she didn't know the full story, her husband had a story to tell. So I contacted him, and he gave me the name of a friend of his who was a Santa Claus player, and I thought that was the guy who had done it. So I contacted him, and he said, no, it was my friend Eric up in Jacksboro that had done it. And so I contacted him, and we went from there. I mean, it's a very difficult interview. And he broke down several times, and he got me, dabbing in my eyes too. And then trying to write, that's the toughest column. I've been writing columns nearly 50 years, and that is without question the toughest one. And I've talked to people after car wrecks, after tornadoes, and really terrible disasters and all that, but never had one that was. Actually, when you're writing it, you're detached from it. You can, you're not living it really. And I know any writer knows what I'm talking about. But it was much easier to write than it is to tell the story orally. Yeah, in some respects, I'm surprised how big it ballooned. Naturally, I mean, you got a Santa Claus story at Christmas. Go figure. It's not that hard to you're going to get some mileage out of it. But this is such a unique story, and so different, and so off the wall, and tragically so sad that I figured it would get some play. I had absolutely no idea it would do what it's done, nor did Eric Schmidt-Monson. I contacted him today after I realized what was going on, and I said, Eric, you better get ready. They're going to be calling you. And he said it's already happening. He had 3 interviews set up that day, and this thing has just, it's taken on a life of its own. Since then, he's been interviewed a bunch, and which I think is great. When I talked to him today, he said, I really want to thank you for writing that. And I said, man, I want to thank you. I mean, you're the guy that did it. I just wrote the story. And he's the guy that did what 99.99 odd infinitum% of people couldn't do. I mean, it's just too emotional and too charged. And as the story says, it took a lot out of him. I mean, it was several days before he could even get his own composure. And just telling it, some of the interviews I've seen of him telling that story, he breaks down again. Tough assignment. He was really hesitant. He couldn't have done it for a couple of weeks. He said it was just a basket case, which I can understand. And he said at one point he really thought about just, look, I can't do this. And then he said, no, I need to. And I think he does. I mean, this guy, if there was ever the human embodiment of Santa Claus, is Eric Schmidt-Monson, which is not your East Tennessee name, by the way. Typical Jones or Smith. But, I mean, he looks the part, he acts the part, he talks the part, and he realized that he needed to get back in that and to do that with kids. And he said as soon as he got around kids, he realized that, he's doing what he needs to do. But I would hope that they would see even in the middle of this tragedy, I mean, this terrible saga, loss of a young child's life, that there is that eternal benevolence of Santa Claus, and that he could connect with this child who was scared, and he could calm him down, and make him feel like he told him. He said, "You're Santa's number 1 elf," and the kid said, "I am," and he said, "Sure," and he did what most folks couldn't do, and I'm confident that he helped ease that child into the next dimension.